Yeah, it hurts. We put a lot of work into going out there and executing and performing well, and it didn't turn out the way we wanted, so, it's disappointing. Yeah, we're a young team, so, you'd like to think that we're going to be back in this situation, multiple times over the course of the next few years, so, we take this and, let it fuel you for the rest of our careers.
I hear Joe. And that's fair, and that's what he should feel like. He should feel like, hey, we're going to be back here. Because why wouldn't you feel that way when, as you pointed out earlier, Michael, all this kid knows, for the most part, is winning. Between what he did at LSU and what he's done in a short time in Cincinnati and transforming that franchise. I would just caution him, and I'm sure plenty of people have said this. We've said this. We said this before they lost this game, is that there are no guarantees. Ask maybe the greatest thrower of the football of his generation or any generation, Dan Marino. You couldn't have told anybody that when he threw 48 touchdowns and the Dolphins were in the Super Bowl against San Francisco after 1984 that he wasn't going to be a regular at the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Never got back. Warren Moon never got there. Even the Kansas City Chiefs, their 4-year run of home AFC championship games.
One championship.
Yes, includes one championship and has been bookended by heartbreak at the hands of Brady and Burrow in the AFC title game. And so I look at Joe Burrow and I say, I feel the way I came to feel very quickly about Tom Brady in that, and this is part of the reason, we joked about it, I was so torn because I built the Cincinnati bandwagon. I did not want to ditch who brung me. Like you said the other day, you're leaving the person that brought you to the dance outside the party. I'm reluctant to bet against Joe Burrow. And when they were going down the field last night, I'm like, here we go again. They left him enough time. Joe Burrow when they were driving and Burrow hit Chase up the sideline and then hit Tyler Boyd again, I believe it was, before the P-Ryan stop and the pressure or whatever before the drive stalled. Bruh, I'm like, Joe Burrow is about to become a legend before our eyes right now. That's how I feel when Joe Burrow has the ball with time left. But more than that, man, Joe Burrow is a Pied Piper. People are going to flock to Cincinnati in free agency to play with Joe Burrow. You've already heard Rob Gronkowski say it, And Carson Palmer, in answering your question, if he's wrong about the Bengals and they do realize the opportunity that they have with this guy at quarterback, then they'll spend in ways that they didn't spend with Carson, but have spent in recent years in free agency and maybe upgrade their entire overall operation because they have an opportunity. Let me tell you, man, my son has got a Bengals cap. Yeah. I told you he sat with the Houdays in SoFi Stadium. Like, they have an opportunity to be a national team with a style icon and a player that competes and comports himself the way that Joe Burrow does. So there's an opportunity for them to do it. But the landscape of the AFC, Buffalo, Baltimore, Kansas City, Los Angeles, the AFC team, it ain't going to be easy. And if a damn show ain't guaranteed.
That's it. Yeah, and that's the point. Look, Joe Burrow is all the things that you said. He is a Pied Piper. You saw the story over the weekend where his comments on injustice really brought a lot of his teammates together. He, in the wake of, George Floyd's murder, a lot of people started talking about things that, some had talked about before, but a lot of them hadn't talked about issues of race and police brutality and systemic racism. A lot of people weren't having those conversations. The Cincinnati Bengals did. Joe Burrow talked about something that happened in his hometown. One of his teammates, one of his black teammates, was the subject of racial slurs, and he was it really upset him. And he really wanted to embrace the teammate and protect him from some of these comments. And he shared that with his Bengals teammates. He started to break down, and they really drew closer to him. So, yeah, he's a special guy. You can see it. He's a special player. He's got a great personality. He understands the fan base more than any other quarterback would because he grew up there. He grew up.
He could dress his butt off.
But Yeah, and not only that.
Dress
and
that
here's
way.
the other thing. How many times has somebody said an historically bad franchise in the draft process said, "Oh, I'll go. I look forward to it." And that's what he said even before he knew they were going to draft him. "Oh, I look forward to being the number 1 pick, and I'll go to the Bengals. I'm all about it." So there's something different about him. But you know what? He's not the only Pied Piper in the NFL. And if you talk about Mahomes, we were just talking about Mahomes and Josh Allen just a few weeks ago in that epic showdown at Arrowhead. Sorry, I'm going to call it Arrowhead. And we said how these quarterbacks are great. They're special. Some of the same things. So what we're saying about Joe Burrow, people in Buffalo say the same thing about Josh Allen. People in Kansas City say the same thing about Patrick Mahomes. But here's a major thing. And we talked about, I know we're on the same page here. Winning 1 Super Bowl, winning one
It's hard.
is really difficult.
Ask Aaron Rodgers. Ask Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. And
like Burrow ain't better than Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
And Rodgers has won. and been the one.
And been the one.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
you know, I know we kind of slight people for only, you know, you never been, or you only went once, you only won once. The Cincinnati Bengals run was a lot of things, but what it wasn't was a signal to the rest of the conference that they can't compete with Cincinnati. You think about it. They won their wild card game, 1 possession over the Raiders.
Yeah.
Their divisional round on the road, give them credit.
Came down to the last second.
Field goal at the
interception.
end.
Yeah.
Field goal over Kansas City.
Right.
And
Down 21-3 to Kansas City.
And they lost the Super Bowl by a field goal.
Like if you ask the people in Kansas
tight.
City.
It's packed in there.
If you ask people in Kansas City,
it's not,
the Bengals belonged. And they knew they belonged. And you were around them all week.
Right.
They knew they belonged. But in many respects, and I can say this about the Bengals. You know, like with your children, I can say this about my child. You can't say it. Or I can say this about my parents. You can't say it. I can say this about the Bengals. They belong, but they shouldn't have been there.
Yes, they should.
They shouldn't have been there. No.
Yes, they should have. Yes, they should have. Because I would say that if it was just if they only had one of those games.
Michael,
but if you play 2 of those games,
Michael, I'm strictly talking about the AFC title game. And again, this is not no disrespect, but disrespect. Hold on.
Disrespect taken.
Wait, no. You agree with me. You don't know you agree with me. You agree with me.
Okay.
Because we talked about it. Because we talked about it. Whether it was the end of the half against Kansas City,
okay,
when Kansas City got cute, you did the math. And what they could have done if they'd just even kicked the field goal, let alone scored a touchdown.
Right.
Or the end of the game, when Kansas City has a first and goal at the 5 with Cincinnati using its timeouts. Like I said, if you ask Kansas City fans in Kansas City, and if you look at the odds, Kansas City blew that. That's taking nothing away from Cincinnati and what it did in the second half.
No,
I can say that.
But
I can say that.
But but you say that, and I don't agree with you.
Let's just agree here. Okay,
I don't agree with you.
Okay, you will agree with this. You will agree with this.
Maybe.
You kind of just said it, that it wasn't like they ran roughshod over the conference during this playoff run.
Got it. Right.
It's that close. How close is Buffalo? There's so many teams that think they're close to getting there. There's so many young guns in that conference in particular. So in the grand scheme, we agree. The Bengals are going to be a factor, but as easy as Joe Burrow, and for that matter, Jamar Chase, makes it look, it's not going to come easy. I think we both agree on that.
Yeah, and you know, how about these guys saying, like last night, and I get it. I mean, it's tough. You know, they thought they were the better team. They thought they should have won that game last night based on what was happening in the game. I'm not talking about pregame now. I'm talking about the way they matched up.
No, it looked like they were controlling it.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
But Mike Hilton saying after the game, we'll be back. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. You'll be back competing. You'll be back competing.
But that should be their mentality.
Yeah, I guess it should be your mentality.
Because that's consistent with we belong here in the first place.
And
so
here's
they should
thing.
feel that way.
Okay, I got to throw this out there, man. Now this is hurt. This hurt. The day after the game, it's a tough loss, and you don't really want to point fingers. Part of the reason teams become dynasties, yes, great talent, superstars, is coaching. I think they really were I think they did not get a great overall coaching performance when it mattered. What was that Sean McVay line? Being your best when your best is required. When their best was required from the coaching staff was not at its best. And that makes me ask some questions. It was not a good plan down the stretch. Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.